My name is Rylee Hodges. I am 18 years old.
Rylee is a great kid. Just a fighter, a survivor.
If I could be like half of Rylee, that would be fabulous. He is motivated and humble and kind.
He loves to play golf, loves to watch Cardinal baseball.
When I grow up, I want to be a sports broadcaster.
He was feeling sick, having headaches.
Huge headaches. It was getting to the point to where I just couldn't function.
We were outside and he said, "Mom, things are just getting dark. Let's just go to the emergency room."
I went to Dr. Quay at the lake, and she told me, "You have a mass in your head, and we're going to fly to St. Louis Children's, and they're going to find out what it is."
Watching Rylee be loaded up into the helicopter, it was just overwhelming. Everything was happening way too fast.
I was insanely worried, wondering if it was cancerous.
Sitting in the Joe Buck Imaging Center that very next day with my husband, it was like we were the only ones in the waiting room, and we just prayed.
It was scary, very scary.
The diagnosis was a central neurocytoma, and I found out that they were going to take it out in a few days and go home, and that would be the end of it. But I didn't go home.
It was a 10-hour surgery. It's very long. Dr. Rowland said surgery went great, so I hugged him and cried my eyes out. He said, "One thing we noticed is that Rylee does not respond to that right side. Rylee has what's called SMA syndrome, is supplementary motor area syndrome." He was working next to that area, and he thinks that because he was so close to that, Rylee was having the neurodeficits from that. So understanding everything, but those connections from the brain out were all skewed. So he could hear us and understand us, but how do I get it from here to my mouth out?
I just couldn't move my right side. It was paralyzed entirely. I didn't know if I was going to be able to talk, walk, or do anything again. I did like 3 hours of therapy a day, PT, OT, and speech. It was very intense.
The things that we take advantage of, being able to talk, being able to swallow. We don't think about those things.
Through music therapy, I was singing, and I like singing a lot, and it helped me a lot.
So the really beautiful thing about music is that it lives everywhere in the brain. So he had a very specific damage in the part that helped process language. The music was able to kind of almost circumvent that damage and rebuild those pathways. So I started our first session with Hey Jude. We were singing na 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 na, hey, introductions.
Say, Dad. Dad. It was like Christmas. You know, it was the best thing in the world because for 11 days, this child made no sound.
When I heard him singing, it just sounded like him all at once. It was his voice again.
2 weeks in, I noticed that I could talk again.
To see Rylee reaching those goals, I was very grateful because I didn't know, and honestly, his therapy team didn't know if he was going to return.
Is there a Rylee Hodges in the house here?
That was the best. When Rylee met Joe Buck, I mean, he'd listened to him since he was a little boy. Rylee wants to be a broadcaster.
Rylee getting to meet Joe Buck, it was just amazing to see Rylee's face. He was so shocked. He has looked up to him since he was little.
I was shaking pretty hard.
I want to invite you guys to our Children's Hospital Golf Tournament on June 5th. You're going to be our honoree.
It's pretty cool because Joe Buck is just a titan of the broadcasting world, and I just love it.
All right, buddy.
I'm looking forward to just watching baseball every day and getting back to golf.
There's still some right-sided weakness, but that's why we continue to do our therapy.
I have to come every 3 months for checkups, and I get a brain MRI every time, and they check for tumor regrowth.
Those MRIs are life-saving. Without that, we wouldn't be where Rylee's at now.
Graduating, I didn't know if I was going to be able to do that, and I can do it. I can walk on stage, I can take my diploma,
Donor funding is so important because it allows us to be more front-facing with our patients. It allows us to kind of continue this reputation that we have of being a top hospital. It allows us to see patients more frequently and provide higher quality.
To all the donors, you made my life bearable during a time of uncertainty through music therapy, through speech, through PT, through OT.
Without the donations that come in, we wouldn't have a thriving 18-year-old kid who's walking and talking again.